Hi everyone, welcome to my little corner of insanity. As you can no doubt tell from the title of this video, I'm going to be ranting about the Indoctrination Theory, so please bear with me. I just don't understand how they can clarify the existence of STARCHILD. I mean, I know they're coming out with this new DLC, this clarification DLC, and I appreciate the fact that they're going to be giving it to us for free, but I really just don't understand how they can clarify the presence of this kid. It just does not make sense. I mean, it contradicts so much of the lore of Mass Effect that it's unreal, and yet the fans see it, but BioWare apparently doesn't. And it's really getting frustrating. I mean, the way I see it, something is majorly wrong with this picture if its own creators can't even understand why the ending is flawed. I mean, this STARCHILD not only cheapens a very mysterious enemy, he also cheapens Shepard's character, I mean, essentially in the last 5-10 minutes of the bloody game, this little has just gone and basically replaced Shepard. Shepard doesn't have any say, any choice, nothing. It's just, excuse my language, bullshit. I mean, I can come up with so many bloody points to say why STARCHILD is just outright wrong and should be removed, replaced, goodbye. He does not need to be there. I mean, his whole flawed logic, would have been a hell of a lot more acceptable if it was the Reapers coming to this conclusion, not some random STARCHILD who was never, ever even a glimmer in the bloody distance on Mass Effect 1, and it really makes me angry. I mean, come on. Let's go back to Mass Effect 1. The whole conversation on Vermeer with Sovereign, you touch my mind, fumbling in ignorance, incapable of understanding. Yeah, okay, well, I understand just fine if what Godchild here is saying is true, The created will always rebel against creators. Bullshit. Then why haven't the Reapers rebelled against you then? If you're their creator, you're the one that's controlling them. Oh, they're my solution. Your solution, yeah, yet your solution hasn't rebelled against you. There you go, you've just contradicted yourself. Congratulations. Are you really that dumb? For an AI, you're really not that smart. Oh my god. It just really does not make sense. I'm sorry, but his circular logic is just ridiculous, considering the fact that it was only about 20 minutes before that we were actually brokering peace between the Quarians and the Geth. I mean, we enabled them to live on the same world together. How does his circular logic make sense? I mean, the Geth were even uploading themselves into the Quarians' hard suits to be able to develop their immune system so that they could live outside their suits. How does the whole rebel against the creators bullshit? Synthetics will ultimately erase all organic life from existence. What? I'm sorry, but I can't help but laugh listening to you, kid, I swear to God. It's ridiculous. This whole psychopathic logic that this kid has to justify his genocide is just ridiculous. I mean, come on. If indeed all organic life will be wiped out by synthetics, then explain why the Geth didn't venture beyond the Veil in the entire 300 years since their creation until Sovereign actually approached them and made them an offer. Which leads me to Legion. Geth build our own future. The heretics wanted the old machines to give them a future. Really? But all the synthetics will ultimately lead to organics being completely wiped out. I'm sorry, why am I not getting convinced? I mean, Legion proved that there's just as much diversity in synthetic life as there is in organic life, so their way of thinking can evolve in just as many different ways as ours. So how do they come to the conclusion that we will ultimately be destroyed by our own creation? Not necessarily. I mean, and if that's the bloody case, if the whole purpose of the Reapers is to preserve organic life, then why not just simply turn around and tell the Reapers, well, okay, they're building them, can you go and erase them, please? Why not target the synthetics instead of the organics? It really just does not make sense. And STARCHILD, he's effectively cheapened Shepard's character with the whole, which explosion do you want, red, blue, or green? I'm sorry, but those choices are absolute bullshit. I mean, come on. The Paragon choice, the so-called Paragon choice, the blue choice. Yeah, this so-called choice, it's evil. It's not a choice that Paragon Shepard would make at all. I mean, come on. Paragon Shepard is all about freedom, regardless of your species, whether you're synthetic or organic. I mean, come on. Half of the choices that you had the option of making throughout Mass Effect 1 and 2, and even through 3, were all based off this basic principle that Shepard holds so blooming dear. Freedom. Freedom of choice. I'm sorry. It didn't release the Rachni Queen on Noveria without the belief of freedom of choice. Didn't give the option for the Rachni to forge anew and make amends to the galaxy for the deeds of past mistakes, and yet you're turning around and telling me that basically, oh well, your choice here is basically to switch one master for another. The Reapers are technically my slaves, I control them, so I'm giving you the option to take over command. So you're saying to me that my choice for the Paragon option basically contradicts Shepard's very nature, beliefs, and what Shepard stands for. How does that work? You brokered peace between the Thorians and the Geth, allowing both to coexist together based off your fundamental belief of freedom. The whole blooming choice on Legion's loyalty mission on number 2 proves this. I mean, yeah, the Paragon choice was to end up rewriting them instead of destroying them, but the argument that Shepard put across to Legion for his way of thinking of rewriting them clearly shows. Shepard argues, isn't rewriting them taking away their will to choose for themselves? Was the argument that Shepard put across to Legion. The only reason Shepard chose to rewrite them in the end was simply based off the fact that Legion was conflicted. Quiz him about it, he says 49% favour destruction or 51% favour rewrite. The choice was made based off Legion's decision, just making it for him. I'm sorry, but everything about the blue choice just contradicts Shepard's character. It is unacceptable. It is absolutely unacceptable. I refuse to accept that bullshit. And the synthetic ending, I'm sorry, but how people can think that is actually the best ending, I really don't know, because it's basically a sly way of turning around and saying the Reapers win. I mean, come on, let's think back to number 2, the Human Reaper. They were abducting entire colonies of humans to create this Reaper. Millions of bloody people, and they only managed to build half of it. And the Reapers are a combination, a fusion of biological and technological. Organic and synthetic life fused together, and you're basically turning around and telling me that this option, this synthesis to fuse organic and synthetic life together. So I'm not only basically turning the entire galactic civilization into Reapers, I'm also turning all those civilizations that have yet to evolve technologically, that haven't even developed space travel yet. They're not even getting a chance to explore the galaxy because they're becoming Reapers. They don't even know why. So this not only contradicts Paragon Shepard's fundamental reasoning of believing that every life has the right to choose, it's also contradicting the very basic character of Renegade Shepard, because Renegade Shepard was all about victory at any cost. How is handing the Reapers victory in any way even remotely related to Renegade Shepard? Synthesis just literally goes against everything that both Renegade and Paragon Shepard are all about, and it's just unacceptable. Whoever thought of these endings clearly didn't possess half a brain cell, let alone an entire brain. I mean, for God's sake. And the whole renegade choice, I'm sorry, that the red option, although it is by far the least contradictory of the three, and it's also the one that makes the most sense, is still unacceptable. I mean, this ending has you blatantly committing genocide on the Geth, on Edie, and any other AI life. And depending on how you chose to play, you also destroy advanced technology such as FTL travel. So effectively, you've just stranded that big, massive armada that you built to come and defend Earth in the Sol system. The Turians and the Quarians, they can't eat human food, so they're screwed. Yeah, before people start going on about the blooming resources, they'll have whatever resources they brought with them. Think on this, the Quarians have just retaken their homeworld. Whatever resources they had on board, they more than likely dropped most of that off on blooming Rannoch when they blooming settled on the planet. They'll be transferring those resources over in order to rebuild blooming their settlement. So half, if not most of those resources are gone, so with only faster than light travel, if it didn't get destroyed, at their disposal, it'll take decades for them to get home. And yeah, they could stop off for a colony if they were able to find one. Remember, most of the colonies have either been evacuated or just as devastated as Earth. So the likelihood of finding one that's still operational, is slim at best. And I'm sorry, with only faster than light travel at their disposal, the time it would take to send out ships, if they're not damaged, send them out, find the resources, scan the planets, mine them, get them back to the blooming Sol system, the need for those resources would have increased tenfold. It's ridiculous. That is if the humans hadn't, gone and slaughtered each other by then. I mean, it's human natural nature to fight for survival. And with devastated Earth, it's very, very unlikely they'll even have the resources to support their own population, let alone that big, massive, gigantic armada. So basically, war is on the horizon on Earth. Civil war is going to erupt due to a lack of resources, and if civil war doesn't erupt, then everyone's just going to starve to death because there's not enough resources to rebuild. And that just takes the piss. I'm sorry, but whoever came up with these endings really didn't think it through. They need to be changed. I mean, this clarification DLC is not good enough. You can't clarify the existence of STARCHILD, that little god-complex maniac. I mean, uses these Reapers as bloody living action figures. That's basically all they are. Oh, look at me, I'm playing war. Shut up. Go away. Get out of my game. Fuck off. Excuse that man. I'm sorry, but I feel very strongly about this. He has no presence, no right to be in this game whatsoever. He does not make sense. I mean, come on, if he was always on the Citadel, then explain to me then why he let the Protheans rewrite the Keepers. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna stand here and let you do it. Go on, carry on, rewrite them. They can ignore Sovereign's signal. I mean, there lies another problem. What was the point of leaving Sovereign behind? If STARCHILD was indeed always on the Citadel, yeah, he could have hidden in an inaccessible core. Fair enough, that would explain why nobody found him. But how would you explain Sovereign? If this AI god kid, little idiot, psychopathic genocidal maniac was always on the blooming Citadel, then explain why Sovereign was needed. He could have just opened up the Citadel relay himself. Didn't need Sovereign. I mean, with the whole blooming thing with the Protheans, you would have been aware that they were trying to rewrite the Keepers. You would have been aware the moment they stepped foot on the Citadel after the Reapers retreated back to Darkspace. So why didn't he summon Sovereign to come and deal with them? There were a few Protheans against a big, massive Reaper that they'd already had all their resources and everything taken away from them. So they were going to starve to death eventually. But why stand by and allow the Keepers to be rewritten? And 50,000 years passed between the destruction of the Protheans and the Return of the Reapers, you're telling me in all that time you couldn't be bothered to, rewrite the Keepers back to their original, their original format, like, what? So you left the Citadel out of your control so that they would ignore Sovereign when it came time to give the signal to open the Citadel relay. Yes, that makes sense. It just contradicts so much. It's stupid, and yet BioWare doesn't see it, and it really makes me angry. I mean, I love BioWare. I love Mass Effect. I don't want to see them make such a huge mistake that will end up spelling their downfall. I really don't want to see that. They've made so many amazing games, and I love them for everything they've blooming done. I love them for giving me Mass Effect, but I can't watch them destroy themselves by not wanting to swallow their pride for more than a couple of seconds, to be able to acknowledge that this thing's existence in the game is the biggest plot hole there is, and no clarification is going to clarify his existence. Because they've already, if you read in Mike Gamble's Twitter, he's already basically turned round and said in no uncertain words that the indoctrination theory is wrong. So if you've debunked the whole indoctrination theory, then there's no other way that you're going to explain Godchild's presence. I mean, how does he even know to take them in the form of that kid? I mean, it was never said that the Reapers were able to read minds. They whisper in your blooming head and indoctrinate you that way by planting suggestions, but it was never said that they're able to read your mind. So how would Godchild know about the trauma that Shepard endured over the death of this kid? I mean, he's got more in common with Edie than he does the Reapers. I mean, he doesn't even have a physical form. So how would something that doesn't even have a physical form be able to read minds? He wouldn't be able to. So how does he know to take the form of this kid? Why doesn't it provoke a reaction out of Shepard? I mean, come on, you've been having dreams about this kid the whole bloody game, and you're telling me now that this random Godchild thing is standing in front of you in the shape of something that has been bugging the hell out of you since the very beginning, and you're telling me you're not even slightly bothered? Does that make sense? I'm sorry, but it really does get me angry. I just don't understand how they thought that these endings, or ending, was a good idea. I mean, they promised us 16 different endings, not one ending with 16 different tweaks. Oh, your choices are mine, huh? No, they don't. Yeah, whatever. If StarChild created the bloomin' Reapers, I find it hard to believe that he wasn't able to rewrite the Keepers. That's just ludicrous, it really is. He created the Reapers to safeguard organic life, and then how does he explain the whole the whole bullshit with the mass relays? Oh yeah, let's see. Going back to Sovereign, the conversation on Vermeer, the Protheans did not create the mass relays, they merely found them. The legacy of my kind. By using it, your civilizations advance along the path we desire. What? Okay, so if you were created to safeguard organic life from being destroyed by synthetic life, which you are, then explain to me why you would advance it faster than it should be by leaving technology around for it to be discovered by said organics. Correct me if I'm wrong, but what was it that the main Captain Anderson / Admiral Anderson turned around and said to you on Mass Effect 1? Oh yes, the discovery of the main archives on Mars. And jump our technology forward 200 years. Okay. Major contradiction, but never mind, eh? Not the only one. Sorry, but they really need to go back to the drawing board and come up with an ending that not only makes sense, but doesn't contradict Shepard's character or the lore that they've written themselves. You know, might actually recommend that BioWare go and play Mass Effect 1 and 2 before they get back to us on that ending. Because something tells me that they've even forgotten what they've written. It's clearly obvious. STARCHILD needs to go. It's that simple. But anyway, I do thank you for sitting by and listening to me rant on and on about this blooming, random, pathetic, annoying godchild. You know, but blooming, hey, again, thanks for watching, and feel free to post your comments and give your own opinion. Thanks again.